that's another angle of like looking towards how brand infused community.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Moonbox with yet another episode where we talk about brands, information technology, startups, and diverse set of topics. Today with me is Rovena. She is our brand designer, and we just want to talk about what's happening in internationally in terms of the branding, in terms of the naming, in terms of how brand is taking the initiatives of the sustainability. So we'll just recap those information with you. So yeah, how are you, Rovena?
I'm good. How are you?
So, do you know about what do you think of Coldplay as brand or as musician?
I would suggest like they're musicians. I didn't really think Coldplay was a brand. I mean, obviously they are, but I don't think them as a brand. I think Coldplay is known for their music, but now currently they're doing something so inspiring and so different that it kind of sets them apart from from other bands just like them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So I was just recently came across with their sustainability report, which they produced. So from that onward, I just kind of fall in love with the initiatives of what they are doing. So that's why I asked the question, either you are perceiving them as musician or as brand, because what I believe is they kind of like connected with a very diverse audience, which is young, and that young audience is very, is very strong when it comes to climate action. And the Coldplay is kind of they created a brand for themselves. So they are musicians by the passion, but ultimately they are becoming in the brand. You know what happened with a lot of when we are doing a lot of branding studies with certain clients, when we talk with them about the purpose, they just feel that that purpose is just very vague term, where they just want to use sustainability words onto it, but they just don't put the actual values within the action. And I believe that from that perspective, the Coldplay is doing amazing job. Uh, I'm sure that you read about the sustainability report. What do you find interesting into it?
I did. There are a lot of concerts that are going on now, and they're kind of having a world tour right now. And when you think about world tour, you're thinking about all the emissions that are released into the environment and the waste that these concerts have, and to think about what they're doing to also entertain their fans, but also their main message is to ask their fans, how do we responsibly handle the environment, and how do we make a better impact while enjoying the concert. And the other things that I found out is they kind of partnered up with different franchises, and it's really cool to see how they've handled everything so nicely, and it's really showing. I think they recently posted a report and how it's really helping the environment drastically. There's been a lot of improvement in terms of that.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. They are moved by the sustainability, but they are taking the steps. So, for example, the recent concert which they had, they reduced the CO2 emission of by 46% of the previous concert when they had it. So that was a real differentiation what they are putting into in through the concert, because their concert is like really big, 30,000, 40,000 people are coming in. So there is a very huge element towards the wastage. So they just want to control it. So that's an amazing initiative. But from my perspective, they are kind of like connecting with the UNDP goal. UNDP is United Nations Development Goal to reduce the carbon emission. And so I feel that the brand has a lot to learn from them. That how to make things better. That if you're using the word sustainability, then you have to live by those words and make sure how you can play your part into it.
Yeah, that's another thing that I kind of liked is they're using their fans as well in helping this whole mission.
Yeah.
I kind of read that article where they said that they have these powered, like energy powered dance floors and bikes that they like the fans have to just dance and ride on the bikes to transmit energy into the whole event. And it was so cool that the fans are also kind of a part of the concert and helping the environment at the same time.
Yeah, so that's another angle of like looking towards how brand infused community.
Yeah.
Where they are talking about the initiatives from their side, but getting the awareness is spread around the community. Those young people who are very active on the social media, they care about the causes. They are very opinionated because they have their voice and they want their voice to be heard. So that is the point. So, for example, the wristband, what they have it is actually created from the recycled things. Is 100% sustainable.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that that wristband has to be collected after the concert, so you have to give it back.
Give it back. Yeah.
So this is amazing, and I'm sure they will be coming up with different set of ideas according to it.
Yeah.
Now, so that comes into the branding. So when we say about the values and the mission and the purpose, that's the branding for the brand.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, Coldplay is now is becoming a proper brand. The only thing which I has to see is just to wait when they will be listed onto the the Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the one of the news which we want to discuss for the Coldplay. Now the most hottest topic what is happening on the internet is the conversion of the Twitter brand to brand X, right? So what do you think of that rebrand? I would call it rebrand complete. So what do you think of it?
It was kind of surprising to see all of a sudden Elon just decided to name the company X.
Yeah, that's so Elon.
Yeah, and it was so unexpected because the blue bird was such an iconic logo. Everyone knew what Twitter was because of the blue logo, and all of a sudden you just Elon just like put up X, and for me personally, I don't connect with the app anymore because the essence that the Twitter bird had and what it is right now, there's a huge difference on how the brand is evolving. If you listen to or even if you read the articles that Elon kind of talked about, he said that it's like a new mark, a new start to the whole X franchise. It's not just going to be about tweets, it's about payments and shops and stuff that he wants to set up in X. And,
yeah, that's one conversation towards this I was having with another colleague of mine, because he was very much inspired by the WeChat of China, right? And he said that that Western world doesn't has this kind of app where you can talk to the people, chat with the people, do business, payments, everything. So it's just one big super app. But that's how Elon is. He is so opinionated about the things which sometimes makes the world uncomfortable with his thinking. Like just imagine, like he kind of like put the Tesla on the rocket and sent it to in the space. Nobody will think of it. Yeah, so that's typical Elon personality. But apart from that, the thing is, don't you think that in the boardroom when they were having the discussion of the rename, did not they had the discussion that when we remove the Twitter logo, which is very iconic and easy to remember as well, what could be the discussion could be, right? So think about that perspective. I'm giving you the rationale and you being Elon, what is your the counter of the whole conversation?
I honestly think there was a panic. I think Elon was just like, this is how I want the company to be, and just rebranded. But like, I feel like everyone working around him would have had that panic. How is the community going to think about this? Like everyone knew there's there are like billions of people who are using Twitter. So how are they going to react to it? I think that was a nightmare for everyone. And I wouldn't say that it was branding. I would say it was a debranding of Twitter, because it just everyone just flipped over.
And there is no uniqueness of the the brand
Yeah.
as well. Like X is so many X things
Yeah.
and different. If you find the logo, you will find very similar logo with the simple X, right?
Yeah.
So there is no uniqueness in terms of the Twitter bird. It was unique, right? And it completely makes sense because Twitter, as where people can talk about certain things.
Yeah.
So by virtue of the nature of the bird experiences his or her life according to that. She goes to different things.
Yeah.
And she tweets, right? So that was the whole concept. Now X is just doesn't adding up any value towards it,
Yeah.
for the brand. But I can still feel that the kind of the negative news of what happened previously before the rebrand of like when Elon joined the Twitter, he fired a lot of the employees. And so I feel that there are a lot of negative baggage. If he wants to convert the Twitter into the super app, might be it could not be possible because people is still talking about the bad things.
Yeah.
In their perspective, but from the management perspective, I think it was a very wise decision. Don't mind it, and that's how I perceive. You have your own decision if you are thinking of something else, but that's how it is. So from that angle, I think it's a wise move, but ultimately we have to wait,
Yeah.
to see how people react and what kind of the changes he is actually getting into the Twitter platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I could not find any sort of tone of communication for the brand right now. Like,
Yeah.
previously the Twitter has it. But because of the X, I can't able to find anything.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that?
I do agree with you. The Twitter bird kind of had a welcoming persona, I would say. X is just, it feels like a dystopian world. I don't know what's in this app. It just feels like if I compare the logo with Threads, I felt like at the moment when Elon thought about that, he probably just didn't want any trace of Mark, and he just wanted a fresh start to X. So in terms of that, again, like as you said, we don't know what this app or the brand itself has in store for us in the future. But I just lost interest in it, like just after this whole X, the name from Twitter to X. Yeah.
And do you think like Thread will do any harm to like the X or Twitter?
I
Because
mean,
it just recently launched and
Yeah.
people are like like going like in flocks towards that Threads. But now the people who went there, they are coming back
they're coming
again.
back, yeah.
So I don't know how they kind of like substitute for that.
Yeah.
So
We'll just have to see.
all right, thank you, Rove, for having the conversation with us. And that's it from our side for this week. We'll definitely meet you next month again with the new episodes, where we'll talk about certain news about the brand and what's happening in general. Thank you, and have a great month.